Now, I showed a little bit on the screen of some of the work that you've done, some of the pictures that you've sent me. Um, how did you come up with your style? You have this style in your jewelry where there is lots of movement, lots of flow. Everything sort of drifts is the way I would like to describe it. I don't really I probably don't have the proper vernacular to be able to describe it the way I'd want to, but when I look at almost all of your pieces, the symmetry of them tends to lean from one piece to another. It's definitely the style that you have. It reminds me of water, to tell you the truth, with the way that a lot of your pieces flow.
Well, style, Kaleko, my styles have changed considerably over the years, and I've experimented with deco styles. I mean, I might have sent you a piece of a really cool deco piece that I did, within the last 10 years. So, I mean, what I consider to be perfect changes or what I like to dabble in, let's say, or what touches my heart changes from day to day, year to year. And sometimes I would draw, because before I actually started creating things, I would sit down with a piece of paper and draw different designs. I sent you one of my sheets that I drew a bunch of designs, and there's a finished piece there. But I just, my styles have changed a lot over the course of years, but a flowing style has always been, I've always liked the flowing style better than hard angles, although some gemstones really blend well to hard angles, but those are usually stones themselves with hard angles, and generally fire agate has soft angles. So I always thought that the piece of jewelry and the stone have to communicate with each other. They have to blend together. So I've rarely seen a hard angle fire agate. So I don't really make hard angle fire agate pieces because the stones themselves don't blend to that kind of a look.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. That fire agate definitely doesn't have the hard angles that you'll find with other stones. That's for sure. Um, Now, you said that you worked, there was a 30-year span where you were doing jewelry, but you weren't really working with fire agate. You also had said that opal was the one that really drew you in. That doesn't surprise me at all that you love fire agate now, because my first experience was digging opals, and I really love opals. And then I had somebody tell me, "Oh, well, if you love opals, if you like opals, you're gonna love fire agate," was his exact statements.
Hmm.
And he was right about that. Like, I still really like opals, and the opals that I really like are the ones I'll probably never be able to afford. The $30,000 carat, 2 carat stones that are just like black and insane with the crystal opal on top of them and stuff like that. Yet, especially because of the value and the steadiness of the color in a good piece of fire agate being all directional, I think that I've fallen in love more with fire agate now than I did opal before. Although I digress from my original question.
Okay.
I sort of went off on a tangent on my own right there. Um, During that 30-year period, was opals the main thing that you were working with, or were you working with other stones too? Did you build up to getting into like these higher quality, higher price tag finished custom pieces? Did you ever do the type of stuff that you would see, like, I guess the question I'm asking is, did you just jump off being really good at the artistic aspect of the jewelry, or did you start with more rudimentary stuff and then build up into it?
Can I say hell no?
Yeah, definitely. Honesty's what we're looking for.
My work, I would say, what drastic, my work from, besides I started making jewelry, it was like 69ish. And I went to college, and I was still making jewelry in college. When I graduated from college in 1976, I decided, well, I'm going to concentrate more of my efforts into making jewelry. And at that point in time, and I'm going to use terminology that, I'm sorry, it's the only terminology I have. Back in the 70s, I made more of what I called my hippie jewelry, because it didn't really have it didn't really have a lot of flat press process behind it. You know, you might see some old rings from the 70s where it almost looks like free form root systems holding gemstones in. And I still see people doing that, and I kind of want to puke when I see people doing that. I'm sorry, I don't say that. I know your audience is, excuse me, I didn't mean that. But back then, that was what I did as far as making jewelry. In 1980, was it 80? Early 80s, I took a couple classes at the Revere School of Jewelry Arts in San Francisco, which was you know, it's no longer around, but it was a world-renowned school for learning jewelry arts, and I learned certain techniques there that enabled me to do more. I went from what I would call a hippie kind of looking style jewelry to a more professional looking style jewelry. But you know, I just think over the years it did get better. You know, but you know, no, I didn't start off as a talent. It's always a struggle getting to a point where you're really comfortable with your work. And you know, I think as being a perfectionist, it always drove me to wanting to do something better. And really what was the driving force behind it. You know, I all my pieces for the last 30 years were all one-of-a-kind pieces. I tried doing production work, which I thought was boring as hell.
That's the word I was looking for earlier, production work.
Yeah, I mean, that was so boring, you know, because I still see a lot of people, you know, they make a design, they take a rubber mold on it, and they do that design with 20 different stones. So it's not 20 different rings, it's one design with 20 different stones in it. I tried doing that, and I just couldn't do it. It wasn't fun, because primarily you have to have some fun in that. And I always said, later in my career, I said, if I want to do production work, I'd rather flip burgers at McDonald's. That would be more fun. So I always pushed myself to do, and that's not necessarily a good thing. There's a danger in that too, but I always would push myself to, my next piece had to be better than my last piece. It just had to be. And again, there's a danger in that, but that's just my personality, and that's what drove me, and that's what drove me to make better and better things.
Well, I definitely think that's a good thing for where you are today and how respected your work is. Yeah, I mean, your work is amazing. It really is. It's hard to define it as anything else but amazing.